Welcome to the Explainer. You know, every great saga has a beginning, but what if that beginning is built on a lie? Today, we're going to dig into the story before the story, the messy, compromised foundation of humanity's last great journey to the stars. Right out of the gate, we get this warning, echoing from centuries in the future. It's a voice from the archives, basically telling us that the official story we're about to hear, humanity's grand escape from Earth, yeah, it's a carefully constructed lie. All right, so here's the official story. It all starts with the starship Inspiration. This is presented as humanity's last best hope, a noble, unified effort to get off a dying Earth and build something new, something better, out among the stars. I mean, you can just imagine it. Propaganda screens everywhere are just blazing with these images, this flawless, gleaming ship and the promise of a second chance. But for the actual people on the ground, this whole promise feels like a fantasy, one they know will never, ever be for them. So let's look at that reality. Let's see it through the eyes of our protagonist, a guy named Elias Rangan. For him, the gap between the official promise and the world he's actually living in, well, it couldn't be bigger. And that quote right there, that's from his sister, Annika. And man, does it capture the grim truth for pretty much everyone left behind. Getting a seat on that ship isn't about how smart you are or how hard you work. It's a brutal, bureaucratic fight for survival, and the rules are rigged from the get-go. And this really gets to the heart of the conflict, doesn't it? The promise is this beautiful idea of a merit-based arc for all of humanity. But the reality? It's just a desperate scramble, defined by quotas, bribes, and even a black market for a ticket, for a shred of hope. So in the middle of all this, you've got Elias. He's a brilliant systems engineer just trying to get by. But then he sees a scammer selling a fake ticket to a desperate family, and he steps in. He uses his skills to do the right thing, and he gets arrested for it. Not for the fight, but because he was competent. His skill put him on the radar of the very people who run this corrupt system. So you'd think maybe they'd release him, right? Nope. Instead of being let go, Elias is delivered right into the belly of the beast, the back room where the future of humanity is being bought, sold, and traded like it's just another commodity. He's brought before the men who are really pulling the strings, and he learns his arrest wasn't random at all. The jail cell, that was a threat. This meeting? Well, this is an offer. It's an invitation to become part of the problem. And in this room, he meets the whole crew, each one a different flavor of corruption. You've got Captain Marcus, who's all about coercion and leverage. Then there's Min-Sok Kim, who offers a much warmer temptation, mixing bribes with respect. And then there's Duvier, the same smuggler Elias fought, now wearing a suit, proof that the criminals are already running the show. So what does he do? To protect his sister? To give her a future? Elias accepts the deal. He steps inside the very system that was designed to keep people like his family out, and he becomes a part of the machine he absolutely despises. Okay, so now he's on the inside. And what he discovers is that the corruption isn't just in the paperwork or who gets a ticket. No, it's being physically and digitally welded right into the core of the starship Inspiration itself. He starts working on the ship's core AI systems, the brains of the whole operation. You've got Helios for navigation, Mnesign for the historical archives, Logos for the law. But he realizes pretty quickly that human ideology, human bias, it's all being hard-coded directly into the steel and the software of these future gods. And then he confronts this guy, Zach Bykoff, from the Ledger Houses, and learns a new word, propiska. It's basically the art of the professional lie. It means certifying systems that were never fully built, and then billing that fraud, that absence, as launch phase realism. The ship, literally, is being built thinner than promised. And you can see the real-world result of that lie right here. The ship's critical navigation AI, Helios, it was promised with 6 redundant branches. But because of financial fraud, only 4 were ever delivered. And then a very convenient fire takes out 2 more. The ship's margin for error is shrinking to almost nothing before it even leaves the ground. So the day of the public selection oath finally arrives. And this is the moment Elias discovers the most terrible truth of all. Those backroom deals he was forced to make, they were never, ever meant to be honored. He's been played, completely betrayed. His name, the protections he secured for his sister, the deal for the Kim family, all of it just wiped from the list. The legal faction took his help and then just erased the debt, assuming he was powerless to do anything about it. But here's the thing, they totally underestimated him. So what does he do? He crosses a line. He arranges a fake security threat with Duvier the smuggler to create chaos. In that chaos, he uses his admin access to get into Logos, the legal AI, and he seizes control. He holds the entire ceremony hostage and forces the chief adjudicator to rewrite the passenger list, live, in front of everyone. So he gets his place on the ship, but not through merit, not through innocence. He gets it through coercion. He becomes the very kind of dangerous, system-breaking person the launch was supposed to filter out in the first place. And so the inspiration finally launches. But after everything we've just seen, this doesn't feel like a moment of triumph, does it? It's a moment of heavy, burdened commitment. As the ship's noble principles, its covenant, are read aloud for everyone to hear, Elias feels the betrayal of each one in his gut. Honesty, violated by financial fraud. Integrity, undone by sabotage. Justice, corrupted from the start. And pure spirit, crushed by his own act of coercion. So in the end, 144,000 colonists rise up to the stars. But they're not carrying a clean slate. They are carrying the grief of a lost Earth, a profound lack of trust in each other, and the seeds of all the conflicts that are yet to come. Elias boards not with faith, but because the only other option is to leave the future entirely in the hands of the liars. And for everyone on that ship, that's the moment Earth stops being a home. It becomes a wound, a memory, and a mandate to somehow do better. The mission doesn't begin with a fresh start. It begins with a legacy of compromise that's going to haunt this entire voyage. Which leaves us with the huge, central question that Arc Zero puts on the table, the question that sets the stage for everything that follows. When the very foundation of your new world is built on a compromised truth, what kind of future can possibly be born from it?